What up?
Hello.
Hi.
What is good, everyone? Welcome back to World's Finest, aka the Throne Zone, as it's been for the past 6 weeks, and it's going to be that way for another 4.
Oh yeah,
because we got 4 more episodes in the inaugural season of House of the Dragon. Yo, what a fucking episode, you guys! We'll see who else wants to damn hop in. Let me bring this up real quick.
Hot damn. That episode was full of fire.
No pun intended. Here we go. House of the Dragon spoilers. Yeah, it was. And we were just talking before we went live. We were talking about how the episode begins with some birth and it ends with lots of death, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just, that shit was insane. Obviously, we saw what happened. Obviously, HBO Max released the clip earlier this week of, when Rhaenyra has the child and he comes in to escort her because Allison wants to see the baby immediately so she can make fun of his hair color and shit. I already knew that was the point once I saw that, but then once we got it, I was like, oh, okay, Allison, can we relax just a bit with that shit? And she can't, she won't, but maybe she might be forced to.
She literally walks in and she just goes, ew.
She plays it all super kind, like, oh, shouldn't you be resting? Let me see your kid.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow. And then what she says to Laenor afterwards, oh, don't worry. Maybe one day she'll pop one out and it'll look just like you. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, that's a bit much. No Chris Notion in the house. What up? Happy Sunday evening. Hope it was another great weekend. Yes, it was. It was. It says, where's Wonderbag? She is very busy. She has something very huge coming in the next couple of weeks. And
so in the meantime, you get me.
That's SS on. That's Meg's nephew.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I did not know that.
She's busy, man. She's busy. She's busy, young homie. She ask her what she's got coming in the next couple of weeks. And she'll tell you. That's right. SS Online, yo. If y'all know, he be on there.
Go subscribe.
Yes, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Dude puts it down, man. Dude puts it down. Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing up in here, man? You watching House of the Dragon? Man, gonna tell your mama, man.
Yeah.
He probably watched it with his moms. So she's just like, yo, get in there and say something. But anyway, going back to you know how we do this thing. We're going to be all over the place with this episode. We'll try to keep it on track as much as we can. But like you see the thing at the bottom, there's going to be spoilers for House of the Dragon coming through. So yes, the episode starts with Rhaenyra giving birth to her 3rd child.
Joffrey.
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 Oh man, if you've been watching Game of Thrones for any amount of time, you know that name is trash. But anyway, so she gives birth to the child, and immediately, like it's and look, I'm sure you saw the clip, Phil. I know I shared it in the World's Finest Day. Just the little thing that they put out to advertise this week's episode, where he comes in, he's just like, she's like, oh, she wants to see him immediately, so he escorts her up there, and obviously, like I thought it might be another baby about to pop out because she was like, fuck. And then she, the shit went on or whatever. And
and I kind of like that that's how they started the episode.
He brings it every week, man. He says, Phil, bring the fire. It was good, Ryan. It was good, man. It was good. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I like how that's how they started out the episode, because like we didn't have to wait to get to that clip, to like put it into context. But yeah, and like, they did that's also just like them doing a good job of teasing it by putting, was it Monday they put it out?
It was like
Monday or Tuesday. It was early.
So like we had all week to kind of like, try and decipher those, like whatever they were talking about, and then them cutting it off right before they get to Allison, and it's like that was just good. just a good setup, like in general.
Yeah, it was. It was that shit was.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, good clip to share, and I think no, to me that didn't spoil anything basically, because it's almost like the tease that they gave, and obviously we always watch the tease for next week, and we'll do so before we wrap up here. But the tease came out last week with the line, and the line was everything, where she said, you get away with this shit once, but 3 times. That's not the exact, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, and she literally says that to the king. Well, we didn't know she was talking to Viserys at that time. I didn't know anyway. I just know I heard her say that in the tease from last week. So and look, man, me and my wife were both looking for, she's like, my wife says, she's probably leaking blood the whole way up there. And so we were looking when she comes up the stairs, and obviously, look, the line was fire. He says something about taking her back to the quarters, and she's like, oh, so you're gonna carry me back down these fucking stairs? And he's like, nah. He literally didn't have to say nothing. He was just like, not doing that. And then, you know, carried her on up to see Alicent and stuff. But we did look behind her, but she didn't there. But later on, after she left there, blood just fucking trailing, bro. I was like, oh shit. So yeah, dude, that entire thing, mad confusing, because as the episode started, obviously me and my wife, we were watching, we were talking about how good the casting was when it came to the younger Alicent and Rhaenyra. It was, oh man, so spot on, and a lot with the other actors that they chose for these roles. The damn it, what's his name? The
Christian Cole.
No. Her husband.
Yeah, Harwin.
Yeah, it's a Harwin. Yeah, I think it's Harwin.
Yeah.
But that shit is the casting choices were spot on, and shit. That was our conversation as it went on. But then, like, once they got in there, and as they went through the door, and then I was like, and look at, and I saw him, and I was like, wait a minute. Once they got into the chamber, I was like, was that him? Was that Sir Cole? Was that Sir Kristen? Because I'm like, is everybody else gonna grow up different actors in this shit except for that dude? And the question was answered quite fast. Yes, every other actor got recast except for that dude, as far as growing up into the series. So what do you guys think about that, man? Like they you know, obviously Rhaenyra was mad young, they had to go with her. But Alicent, oh man, the actress who plays her when she's older is, I thought Rose Byrne. Like, she looks like Rose Byrne from, you know.
It's funny, I actually just watched Ready Player One earlier, and that was like one of her earliest, or well, that's like the first thing I saw her in, I think. Yeah. But it's like, I don't think I've ever seen, and you know, I guess not every show does this, but like, you know, handing the baton to the older character, or to the older actor, I don't think I've ever seen it executed so flawlessly. Like it's they didn't miss a beat. Like, it's just, you believe that, you know, you just saw these characters age, you know, what, 10, 15 years or however long it's been, I can't remember. But it's like, you know, again, that's how you know the quality is there, because it's believable. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to pick any favorites, but Alicent was just like, I can't remember, is it Olivia Cook?
Olivia Cook.
She was good. She like was just believable with the, you know, bringing the drama and just being a shit stirrer. Like she was good.
Yeah. No, she was incredible. You got any thoughts on the film?
I mean, you know, listening to Condal and Sapochnik talk about how they essentially got to do a second pilot after 5 episodes with reintroducing the new actresses, respectively playing Rhaenyra and Alicent Hightower. You know, like Joey, I really liked Olivia Cook as Alicent Hightower. I thought because you really see the change, because once episode 5 happens and you see Alicent come to terms with what the truth is brought to her from Kristen Cole, you see the whole dynamic of everything change. You see Kristen Cole's whole allegiance change. You see how he feels about Rhaenyra, and how he was so quick to turn on her, because he was ready to just end it and give it all up, because he felt like he was just being used. Whereas, you know, Alicent Hightower feels almost similar to some extent, but she feels just betrayed. So what do their common alliances have in that? Well, we were both screwed over by Rhaenyra. Let's work together so we can properly screw her somewhere down the line, right?
Yeah.
But I personally adore Emily. Is Emma? It's Emma D'Arcy, I believe. It's Emily or Emma. Emma D'Arcy. I loved her as older Rhaenyra Targaryen because there's a change there too. You go from seeing this sweet, almost naive young lady to just a headstrong, willful, perfect princess, but also at the same time, you know damn good and well that she's feeling the weight of her lies coming down on her shoulders, right? Because obviously, you know, after everything that happened with Sir Criston Cole, she did not hesitate to go and find another knight to sleep with.
Yeah.
As we have seen with her 3 children, right? And like, you know, even having all of that like come up in her face in the beginning of the episode when Alicent's like, yeah, I want to see your 3rd child and I want to see it 10 seconds after you've birthed it, just so I can confirm my own suspicions, right? And then having her even just throw that shade at Laenor, like, yo, maybe one day she'll pop one out that looks like you. It's like, fuck me. Holy shit. She ain't they served out respective tongue lashings at each other throughout this episode, and it was well served.
Yeah, and it was enjoyable to watch. And even, you know, jumping ahead a little bit, when he comes into Rhaenyra's chambers, obviously she's chilling. She, you know, I don't know, but I guess it's a few days after the birth or whatever. He comes in drunk as fuck with his homie. You know what I'm saying? They come in, you know what I'm saying? They come in and they're making jokes, and she's like, can I get a word or whatever? So his boy bounces, he comes in, and you know, the conversation is absolutely incredible. And obviously, how Game of Thrones does, he says a line to her that she throws back at him, not in his face, because I think when she returned the line to him, he enjoyed the line, I think, but he says something about, you know, a good sailor bounces, but when the storm is just conjuring up, basically, he says, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's like, oh, it's like that. That's the look she gives him. And he just, he takes another sip of his old fucking whatever, his wine. And he's just like, and she says something, I command you to do this and that. And he's just like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? He just
it's like, you know, he's the one not really in a position here. He's not the one holding the lie. All he had to do was say, yeah, I'll be your husband. Cool. I still get to do what I want to do. Cool. But now it's my turn to do what I want to do. And she's like, fucking motherfucker. You married me. You do what I say.
You ain't about to bounce on some ship while I deal with all of this shit back home. Yeah.
When he said the sailor thing, she should have been like, yeah, you know a lot about seamen.
Oh man. Well, yeah. If she had said that, I probably would have fucking walked outside of my front porch and just
belly left.
yeah. No.
And she just looks at the camera. It's the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
Yeah, she's like,
dun, dun, dun.
Good one, Joey, my man.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. But when she does deliver the line back to him at the end of the episode, she says, "Oh, and you know, your boy can come. We need as many swords as possible." I literally looked at my mom and said, "Well, he's not going to have a problem with bringing his cheek clappings along on the ride." You know what I'm saying?
Oh no,
he had zero problem. He's like, "Oh, well, let's go to Dragonstone then." You know what I'm saying? That's jumping far here. But so we saw what happened in the chambers earlier, and everybody knew it was just, you know, as soon as Valerius was holding the baby, his grandson, and fucking she goes up and she's like,
let me look at that hair.
Let me look at those hair. I was like, this motherfucker. Yo, I tell you what, this is doing a good job, and this is kind of jumping. Yo, this who do you love? Who do you love? Do you love?
You know what?
Who do you love?
I'm glad you
I don't
asked
love
that question.
neither one of these motherfuckers.
I love Viserys. I still love the fact that Viserys is like, oh, let me hold my grandson. Because that's all he gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck about who the dad is. He don't give a fuck. He just wants to hold his grandson with his one arm, which I called, by the way.
Yeah.
I was right. No, but seriously, like, I love that Viserys is so true to his own ways. Like, he really could not give a fuck. Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, Ryan. Yes.
I get what you're saying though, Phil. Like he's in the world.
I'm telling you, the look is there. Yes, it is. Go ahead.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
He's a rotting
How?
sack. But see, and that's like kind of the cruel irony of Game of Thrones. Like being he's not a perfect person, but like in the world of Game of Thrones, he's probably in like the top 10 of like good people that we've seen, or like, the best. So it's like, it's just funny that like probably the most wholesome character of the show is now rotting away, or has been rotting away for the past 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And it like, I think, he's probably my favorite too, just because it's like, man, I can tell you're trying to try.
Yeah,
but it's just not being executed very well.
And it's good you say that, because remember last episode when he's sitting in that chair, and that's when we all thought he was about to perish. We thought that was the end of we thought he was gone, Viserys, and then he's just like, oh, how will I be remembered? Where they call me this, whatever. And I was thinking, damn, man, he's about to die, and they're probably gonna call him some fucked up shit. And then obviously he didn't. He still looked like Ryan says, looking Schmeagolish, just creeping around, fucking, just, hey, can I see
looking
my grandson?
Like the fucking crypt keeper, just being
yes.
Oh, sorry.
He's looking like that.
Wrong hand.
But he is. That's why I wanted to ask that question, because it's like Rhaenyra. Early in the series, you're like, Rhaenyra. Then you're like, whoa, you're a grimy little motherfucker for sure. And then now that she's older, she's like, especially the scene at the meeting, the council meeting. You know what I'm saying? When she was like, oh, well, let's do this. Let's have my son marry y'all's daughter. I was like, your dad, and that means that's his daughter too. And this is Game of Thrones. Okay, let's do it. Let's keep it rolling. Let's. And then she's also like, yo, we'll give you an egg. The next hatch, you know what I'm saying? The next big harvest of eggs, we'll go ahead and hand one to him. And I was like, ooh, shit. But what y'all think? Real quick, going back at the beginning of the episode when the one son, what's his name, Aemon?
Yeah,
Aemon. Yes, Aemon. Yeah, when he went, do you think that, like, does he have a dragon that they just couldn't tame, or what the fuck, or he just didn't have an egg? It just seems so weird that he got skipped for eggs. What do you think?
I thought it was fucked up that his older brother and his two cousins were just like, yo, we got a dragon for you, and it's a fucking pig, dude. It's like, yo, that ain't cool. That's, I mean... given the nature of what we see from Aegon, which, for the record, him and Homelander shaking hands, wanking one off over a fucking balcony or some shit, just...
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that voice.
I was like, is he really pulling some Homelander shit right now? And then sure enough, who catches him? It's like... It's like if you're in the bathroom spanking one out to a Playboy mag, and your mom bursts in like, yo, I got to use the... Oh,
that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And she sees that, and she just fucking drills into him like, what the fuck are you doing? You're sitting here wanking one off when at any moment your older fucking half sister could be like, yo, I can take the throne, and fucking whoop, there you go. Out you go. Get the fuck out of here. You dead. So she immediately instills into him like, yo, you better start taking this shit fucking seriously, especially if you want that fucking throne, kid. And I was like, ooh, I see what you're doing, but you just fucked that kid up for life.
Yeah. Also, she also didn't make it like, she said protect your, basically you need to protect your younger brother because of what you just said. She's just like, you know what I'm saying? So like, he doesn't care. Like, you could see the first shot of him in that, where they keep the dragons and stuff. I was like, what a douche.
Yeah.
He just looked like it. Yeah, it just looked like he didn't give a fuck about being there at all. He's just, I can sip wine whatever the fuck I want, and I can stand on a balcony and fucking, pop, whatever out onto the crowd beneath him.
He's lucky when she walked in, he didn't like lunge forward and have a King's Landing right there. buck ass naked in front of the entire.
He's lucky he didn't have a grandma's boy situation. Oh, I'm coming. It feels so good.
Oh man. So it went off the rails just he lucky is the key word here. But and so that happens, and he still, after she says all of that to him, he still had a look on his face like, I don't care. I really don't. Can I be a child? Is basically
like,
what it.
Can I just keep spanking out the window? That's all I want to do, Mom. That's all I want to do. Let me Dracarys all over King's Landing.
Oh. He says it's sad seeing Renee still trying to make things up with Allison. She's still a whole bitch to her. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as Rhaenyra knows she's in a kind of a tight situation, and it'd be best for her to have Allison on her side for just a bit, because that scene too, where she walks up and she hears dude talking to his son, who is the father, about all of that shit, and she's just hidden listening. Oh shit, everybody knows. Like, what the fuck? Yo, let me ask you one real quick. Did you guys notice there's a scene where Allison comes walking up a walkway at the castle, and she passes by a maid or whatever, and the maid puts her head down and laughs and turns and just walks the other way?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it was right after she left the chambers where what's the name came in and tried to give up his hand of the king shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then as she leaves there, which, bro, that entire scene, he's like, I need to relinquish, being hand of the king or whatever. And then it totally just mirrored her sitting there with that. Hold up. It's Larys. When she's sitting there with Larys, and she's like, he says, "Oh, so the hand has lost his ability to be
his
able
integrity."
Yes, basically. Mm-hmm. And then she says, "Well, what if my dad was here?" He said, "Well, your dad would. Well, my dad would cater to me." Basically, that means his ass has lost his integrity too, mother. Because you're not, you know what I'm saying? Hand of the king is not supposed to have any type of things like that. So it was real. That kind of gave her away to a certain extent. If you started feeling Allison for a second, then you were like, oh, but you still would like your dad to be here so he could take your side and you could go on and do whatever the fuck your wishes were. But yeah.
I don't think my father, the inventor of toaster strudel, would be too happy to hear that this is
He says he kind of likes, oh, hey man, it's the same Viserys, man. He's just, you know what I'm saying? And it's really hard to see him like the way he looks, but I'm also like,
so
hey, he's all right. He's all right now.
The actor who plays Viserys, Paddy Considine, last night to fall asleep, because my tooth is fucking killing me right now, like my back tooth, and I couldn't sleep for shit last night. So I turned on an HBO series called The Outsider. I completely forgot Paddy Considine had a fucking role in this shit. Paddy Considine is the MVP of House of Dragons so far for me. That dude is just consistently, every episode, he has the most ass backwards decisions to make, but he's also carrying the show. He is the maker of the hard decisions, because he's the king. He didn't want the role. He was just handed it. And he's just like, fuck, now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. I named my daughter Heir. Oh, fuck. Now she's sleeping with her uncle. Oh, fuck. Now she's sleeping with her fucking favorite knight. Oh, fuck. Now she slept with her other favorite knight. Now she's got 3 kids with said knight, but she's passing off as Laenor's kids. What the hell am I going to do?
I'm getting too old for this shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm missing a fucking arm, right? Like
okay, so sorry, just a quick side note. That's the Jason Bateman show, right? The Outsider?
Yes, Jason Bateman,
he was in it for
Ben Mendelsohn, and Paddy Considine. Yeah,
who was he? I forgot who he was in that.
Mendelsohn?
Yeah, no, Viserys.
So Considine plays one of the supporting roles. Bateman and Mendelsohn have the main roles. The Outsider is based off of Stephen King's story. Right. It's only a limited series.
I've seen it. I just forgot that.
Dude, so fucking good.
I forgot that Paddy, whatever was in it.
Considine shows up in like the 4th or 5th episode.
Oh, okay.
Is that maybe where earlier. That meme or that GIF came from, or is that from? Damn it! What's it? The Shit, I'm trying to remember the name of the movies. Fuck it, we'll move on because I can't remember that. There's a gift that came out this week where it was like when you thought Lord Viserys was dead, but then it shows Paddy Considine come back in the picture.
Oh no, that's Hot Fuzz.
Oh, Hot Fuzz. That's
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name of it. Yes, Hot Fuzz.
He's like,
that entire trilogy of movies is fire. But yes, I do. Yeah, it's Hot Fuzz, and he comes back in, and I thought that's hilarious because that's
he's also really good in The World's End. He plays Steven.
Yeah.
He is really good in that. Like he kind of plays like kind of the straight man. Like he's not cracking more jokes than like Simon Pegg or
right
Nick Frost. But he's still really good.
Yeah. No, hey, good.
Joey, it's funny you mentioned that. I turned on This Is the End because I had at World's End in my head. I was like, oh yeah, I remember. And then I started watching. I was like, oh fuck, this ain't the same movie.
Well, it's still This Is the End is still pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
but
it's so good.
No, it's not the same. Let's see. He says, I feel bad for whoever's walking by the castle who gets sprayed by Aegon.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Dawson?
You're gonna have some egg on your face. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.
Yeah.
I've already heard that it's not good looking good for San Francisco right now. I don't know what game Dawson referred to.
I thought you meant Aegon. I was like, what the hell does you have to do with San Francisco?
No.
No, he's talking about the game. Got off of yeah, it's pretty close still.
Dawson, we're talking about Game of Thrones. Get out of here.
Football.
He says so. 6 episodes in which has the stronger start, House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones? We got 4. Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I would say that it's you kind of can't do that with both series. And here's the thing: it's for Game of Thrones.
We can't do it yet. Because this first season isn't done yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if he's talking, he said through 6 episodes, though. Through 6.
Oh, okay. Then.
Oh, man, it doesn't really get fucking crazy.
Well, okay, but it's hard. It's hard, though, because Game of Thrones didn't have a show like, predating it. This does. But this having that show being having a predecessor kind of builds up that hype. So it's like it's just a hard thing to gauge, at least in my opinion, because like it's not just the show on its own, you know?
Yeah. I'd say that's pretty much the same reasons. And look, for me personally, I can't do that because when I came into Game of Thrones, it was between seasons 2 and 3. I was in Afghanistan. Watched the first 2 seasons, got hooked, and then once I got home, when season 3 started, I was just enamored with the show. Like it was just so good. And so I think as the last time I rewatched Game of Thrones, through 6 episodes, it was good. Make no mistake about it. Wasn't this fire though. But they know what they're working with when it comes to something like this. So they know that like they've learned, I guess, to take the words from the page and turn them into what they did with the original Game of Thrones series as opposed to this one. They know how to fucking get the audience to be like, yo, what the fuck? Which in Game of Thrones, the penultimate thing for me when it started is 2 episodes down the road, season 1, episode 8 in Game of Thrones, when you saw, our good, he used to he headed this house.
Yeah.
When you saw that happen to him. So that's when I knew that the series overall, the original one, was for real and not no bullshit. We're about to, you know what I'm saying? Like we hold no fucking shit. No hold, no punches. We're going to show you some shit. So I
think for me, when I think about that question, when I think about that, what's up, V? When I think about this series in particular, they're only doing 1 book, right? So you've got Fire and Blood. That's what the series is really aiming to do. They're only have 1 book to worry about, not 5 or 6. And then they're also not working out of trying to figure out an ending either. Like you have Fire and Blood. This is where you're pulling your material from, but you can also expound upon it, as we saw last episode with Damon being the one who killed his former wife. Right, because that was only like a line of dialogue in the initial book. So when it comes to House Targaryen, House of the Dragon, I think for me, number one, I like dragons, period. I like dragons. I've always been enamored with the idea of these flying creatures who can fucking shoot fire out of their mouths. I love that concept. I would love to make a movie based around dragons one day, maybe, I don't know. But just the idea of those creatures existing to me is cool. And the idea of people being able to shepherd, if not control them to some extent, also works for me. And that was one thing I really loved about Game of Thrones proper. So seeing a whole series based on the fall of House Targaryen is essentially what the series is aiming to be.
Yeah.
That to me personally just gives it that kind of edge. But I think structurally, when you look at what the showrunners did with initially with Game of Thrones, Sapochnik, I'm probably fucking that name up. I'm so sorry. Miguel Sapochnik and Ryan Condal, they looked at what worked for Game of Thrones, and they were like, okay, everything here we're going to pull for House of the Dragon, and they kind of stepped away from the things that might not have really worked towards the later end of that series. But then again, they don't really have to worry about that, because they're not even at the ending of their series. They're at the very beginning of it. They're just trying at this point to get the House of the Dragon story settled. This is all legitimate world building at this point. That's what season 1 of this is. This is all beautiful world building of why House Targaryen fell the way that it did. And I think the beauty of what they had with Game of Thrones is you had incredible casting. You also had the idea of nobody is safe. And you also have now the history of the Targaryens, which was not as much explored as it was in the initial Game of Thrones run. So now we're getting to see that in full, but you also get to follow the same kind of playbook of nobody is fucking safe. And as Ryan pointed out in the chat, when Lady Lena dies, you're like, oh, fuck, man, that's some, that would hurt. Yeah. It hurt because she basically went out the same way Aemma did. But the caveat was she just decided to go out to her dragon and just yell Dracarys and just take the heat.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Well, and it's just that, that was rough to watch. I think the score also like kind of drove that home too. Like the score of that scene was just so weirdly beautiful for a scene where someone was getting charred alive, you know? Like, and it's because I think like, again, we talked about the whole idea of birth and death and just, I guess, life in general. We've seen some of these people have an entire life in the last 6 episodes. So I think it's something where, you know, she had that, I don't know, that feeling of failure or whatever. And she was pretty much just like, I have nothing else. Yeah. So she kind of just like, went through like the 5 stages, you know? Yeah. And it was pretty much just the anger, the like begging, just like please just end me.
And not to interrupt you, but like prior to that, when she tried to reach out to Damon at that point on the on the roof, he was kind of cold-blooded, bro. Yeah. Well, why don't you leave me be, bitch? Like basically that's what he said to her, and I was like, damn, bro, that's fucked up.
Yep. I'm glad you brought him up because let's talk about Damon for a minute, because he went from being, like a soldier that you hear get talked about to just this older man who's just like fed the fuck up with life. And he's like, oh, I just want to chill, drink this shitty wine and fucking let my kids be. But I can't even have that because you're down my fucking throat 24/7. I can't sit in my library and read about old days and fucking chill because you want me to do something more. You want me to go back home to the one place I don't want to fucking go. I don't want to see my brother. I don't want to see any of this shit. I just want to fucking forget about everything that was denied to me so I can just live prosperously. But as we've seen, as we will see, that ain't going to last long.
He always shows back up. He'll be back. Yeah, and so, you had that happen, and obviously with the birth, the little side conversation, which she was totally cognizant of, she heard that shit. She looked over like, I see the maester. I don't know if that was a maester or whatever, but he was talking to Damon about, look, we can't get the baby out. The baby doesn't want to come out. We could do this, this, and this. And he's like, well, she survived. And it's weird. Obviously he didn't do what Viserys did earlier in the series, which is say, go ahead with the operation. Yeah. He just looked, you know what I mean? He didn't, you know what I'm saying? So you don't know what he was thinking, but she wasn't going to give him the opportunity to fucking make a decision. She's like, yo, dragon, my beloved dragon, cook me up extra crisp. And that was, she said She said, damn it, what's the word? It just left
Dracarys.
She said Dracarys like 6 times. And the dragon was like, God damn, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? The dragon was like, I don't want to fucking, and finally he just let rip and cooked her up right when Damon was walking out. How the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And then jumping around again. So you hear this voiceover going on, and obviously it's Laris's punk ass. But you hear this
Littlefinger 2.0, yeah.
Yes. That's that dude this series that you're gonna be like, if I see him in public, but maybe
I'll make his other
on site.
Yeah, on site.
So let me ask you this real quick then.
All right.
Who do you think now, after 6 episodes, is more of a Littlefinger, Laris or Otto Hightower?
I'm gonna go Laris.
Okay.
Just because of the shit that he
shit that he pulls at the end of the episode.
Yes, and then the way that Allison reacts to it is almost look we'll get that say, but I can't remember what the fuck I was saying. No, she said Dracarys a couple times. Finally, the dragon cooks her up, but Damon walks out at the perfect time, and then the voiceover from Laris that we hear, I'm like, who's talking? Oh, that's him. And then it shows this scene with Damon and the 2 daughters. He doesn't give a fuck. He kind of tries to comfort one of them, and he just walks off on a rooftop. And I'm like, whoa. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't expect anything more just because when you first meet them, and it's 10 years, I guess, because the one dude says 10 years in the episode. He says, so when you finally meet them and they're dragon riding, it's fire. The VFX are dope. You know what I'm saying? And she, throws a fireball. Obviously, he can't burn because he's a Targaryen, so he just goes straight through the shit. It's all fire. It's dope. And then it gets in there, and dude's like, and look, man, I almost had to pause it because the dude looked like David F. Sandberg. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. That king of that place looked just. I was like, did he cameo? Because you see before he shows up in his hall
of like
they show a flyover.
Pestros, is that what it's called?
Yeah, but they show a flyover, and he's like, he shows them looking. I was like, did Sandberg get a cameo in this? And then they showed the scene. I was like, that's not Sandberg. But it looked like him anyway. But, obviously he offers him, yo, riches, come fucking live amongst us and be fucking whatever. And Damon wants to do it, of course, because, he want nothing less than to go back to that fucking place where, like Phil just said, he'll be returning. But he didn't want to. And obviously the queen's like, look, man, I don't want to fucking chill here. I want to have our babies run amok in my home castle. I want to go visit, whatever. And then you see what happened to her.
Pentos. Thank you, Ryan.
Pentos. Okay. Yeah. That's what it was. Oh, Pentos. Okay. He says he honestly is a hybrid of Littlefinger and Vero. Laris.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you
go. That's good. But yeah. So back to what we were coming up on when it came to like towards the end of the episode. Once fuck, I'm losing my train of thought right now. What were we talking about?
Laris being the
douchebag,
the voiceover.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Regarding children, yeah.
And so that's right. We were talking about who's like, okay. So now with him and then you hear the voiceover, and then once it's done and it's him talking, I was like, this sniveling son of a fucking, you know what I'm saying?
It's so funny too, because when he's first introduced, you're just like, well, fuck. I feel bad for that dude. He's got a fucking bum leg. He's got to walk around with a cane. Now you're just like, yo, fuck that motherfucker.
Yo, my wife didn't recognize him. She thought it was somebody else. I was like, no, that's the same dude. I was like, remember how old he looked at first? She's like, oh yeah. So he's eating good. So Laris is he's eating good. He's got a little armor on him, and he's literally dining with the fucking queen, literally, like waiting in her chambers to die. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
he holds
Littlefinger shit.
Yeah. And so like it's fucked up because he has this conversation with her, and then when he goes down to the depths of the dungeons, and he's like, yo, let me recruit some sneezy snaggling motherfuckers and cuss their tongues out, bro.
Yo, that was gnarly.
Also gangster, because he's like, y'all ain't about to tell nobody I told y'all to do this. So he's like, let me cut your tongues out. Let me fucking do all that.
Real quick though, the that voiceover at the end, that it gave me like the Chaos is a Ladder speech vibes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Like it was very just like, you know, like him kind of laying out like he's like, I could fuck everybody over if I want. It's just gonna take me a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but with your support, Queen, we can fucking that's what he could have ended it with, because that's the exact vibe it gave. Yes, yeah. Ryan is right. He summoned an Assassin's Creed Brotherhood for his dirty work, bro. He went down there, and those dudes were just looking disgusting. And as soon as I saw who was sitting down to talk to him, I was like, "Oh no!" First, he put the cane. He put the cane down, and you saw the emblems in the cane. I was like, "This motherfucker!" And obviously, he starts talking to him, and they agree to do his dirty bidding. Which is grimy because that was his dad and his brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He burned his dad and his brother. He was like, yo, I'll do this. Yo, that's another thing to add on when he's talking to Allison. So with your endorsement, Queen, we could fucking, you know what I'm saying? We could do some dirt, but obviously he ain't gonna say that shit. But
it's like, oh, you're sick of your stepdaughter popping out bastards? Let me take care of that for you.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't ask for this. He's like, basically, he was like, but you did. But you did.
For real.
And who else has done that shit in Game of Thrones? You know, Lord Varys has done that shit. If you know what I'm saying? They might come to him with, but I didn't say that. He's like, but you did.
You didn't my sparrows.
Yeah. And it was that one scene where the kid walks out and he's like, is that my dad? And at one point, I was like, damn, should she tell him or should she lie? I don't know. He's young.
She gave him the perfect answer. She was like, you're a Targaryen.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
That's all that fucking matters.
You could say Dracarys. You know what I'm saying? All right, yeah, I got you, Joey. Got you. Among other things in the episode, man, I think obviously the aesthetic, the show always looks fire. And look, man, what they got, there's 4 episodes left.
Right. And we're getting a season 2.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think with advancements. Go ahead.
You know what just came to mind? The way Sir Kristen Cole is so fucked up to Rhaenyra's kids. Oh my god. Yeah. How he totally
beat the shit out of him.
Just Aegon, oldest kids, fight right now. And he totally gives Aegon.
If that were a WWE match, he would have thrown him in a steel chair and be like, go ahead.
Yeah, he didn't know it. Yeah. Where'd that steel chair come from?
Oh my god.
Yo,
I like that more. That's what he was getting at.
That combined with the scene that happened right before it when Allison is walking up the corridor with him and he is bad talking Rhaenyra. I was like,
full egos. She's a spoiled cunt. I was
gonna say he called her the C word. I'm like, whoa, all right.
He's fucking mad.
You clapped them cheeks. You remember, you son of a bitch. Like that's the exact things that came up. I was like, I got you, jealous bastard. Now he's mad somebody else clapping them cheeks, which this is Game of Thrones, so that's
bro. He's got to put out the Ray J. Was it I Hit It First or whatever?
The sex tape, bro.
Yeah.
He's got to
I meant it's more the song. Yeah,
he's got to drop the sex tape, man. That's the only way to get it out there that he clapped them cheeks before everybody else. But I don't know what's going out there. And that entire scene, obviously, the dude that's the kid's father, he beat the fucking shit out of him. He was like, well, that answers that question. Sir Cole, you got your fucking ass whooped, you son of a bitch. So who is it? The other dude. My mind left me while we were watching it. Like the dude who's the father of the kids. Yeah. Who is that from the other episodes?
We had seen him a couple times.
Harwin? What's that?
Harwin?
Harwin, thank you.
Yeah. I couldn't remember though, like if there was like
I had
some looks they gave each other, or if there was something.
I had to look it up too. I think there were like looks. Or like, and I think it's the same actor. So like I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention to it enough, but like I definitely had to jog my memory too of just like, who the hell is this?
Harwin was the one who took her out of the fight after Kristen Cole.
Oh, he pulled her off. Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
After Sir Cole just straight.
That's the dude that the hand nodded to get her out of there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yes. Oh, I got that. Okay.
So the hand has two kids. He's got Harwin and he's got little Laris, who's we all know what kind of bum motherfucker Laris is. But then you look at Harwin and you're like, you seem like a pretty upstanding cat. And he gets fucking 2 episodes and then, well, catches some fire.
Yeah.
that was unfortunate.
Kind of a basic comparison, but you know, he's the Loki to Harwin's Thor. Like he's just that's jealous, weaker brother who, you know, he uses his
perfect from Joey. Yes.
He uses his you know, sneaky conniving ways instead of brute force.
And then when Harwin fucking cracked Cole, I was like, you deserve that shit.
Yeah, because Cole and I don't care. Harwin cracked Cole.
No, because Cole's whole scheme from the go was just basically trying to get Harwin to, you know, react to that situation.
Oh no, he wanted him to get pissed, and that like, you know, he could have said literally, he could have literally said anything else, but the fact that he was like almost like a son. And it, like, it's just like, dude, anybody could hear, like, anybody could put that together.
Yeah.
Ooh, dang.
Yeah. Pretty much so. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I could have understood a lot of, well, not understood. Well, I understood it because it's Game of Thrones, but I could have lived with a lot of the Sir Christian's scenes in this episode. But the one where he called her a cunt, I was like, dude, last episode you were professing her love. Run away with me. Now she's a cunt. Shut the fuck up, you bitch ass.
Unbreak my heart. Say
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's exactly. I was like, really, dude?
Homie's a bitch. The homie is a bitch. Fool is ready to just go, fuck my life. And then no, Queen Alicent Hightower was like,
nah,
come work for me.
You'll be my guard. And I look literally, there's at least twice in this episode, I expected her to come back to her chambers and he was clapping her cheeks. Like I thought that could be the case, but I mean, still could be. They ain't said no. So
no, because you know what happened.
What's that?
He got thrown. He got throne zoned.
Because you know, if Viserys found out, he'd have that fool's head.
Oh, absolutely. That's why he was going to kill himself at the end of the last episode. He was ready to throw it all away.
If he makes an advance on her anytime for the rest of this season and she like thwarts his advance, definitely throne zone. That's Sir Kristen Cole, you've been throne zoned. You know what I'm
saying? You are the weakest link in the throne. Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, he that one, oh man, when he called her cunt, I was like, you serious, dude? You were mad in love with this bitch 10 years ago. Now you're not. Chill. He's still in love with her too. I bet you something comes forward.
Absolutely.
Where he just is like, well, especially if her husband dies, if something happens to that dude, and then he'll come in and be like, or well, since the knight's dead, he done got burnt to a crisp by his own brother. He's probably gonna try to creep back in. So since brother ain't slapping you up, you know what I'm saying? You know, I won't be surprised if he tries to, get his way back in. And if she says no, or if she says yes, lets him clap, he's done. He's done. If he's in cahoots with Alicent, but also he goes back and claps Rhaenyra once more after 10 years, you're done, dude. How do you choose which side to fucking good plot point?
So I think the smartest thing Rhaenyra did was be like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm going to Dragonstone. Fuck all y'all. I'm out of here. Get the fuck out my face. I'm gone. Fuck all y'all motherfuckers. I'm gonna take my kids. I'm gonna take my gay husband. I'm gonna fuck you. I'm fucking out of here. Fuck all this bullshit. I'm just gonna go reign at Dragonstone until my dad dies, and then we can start a real fucking war.
Yeah,
because that's where I see things going. Truthfully,
yeah, I do too. And so look, another great episode in the books. Like I said, this series, obviously there's material out there that they base this on. As with the original Game of Thrones series, I think this one benefits from the work on this actually being done and the series that came out before it being after this series. So they pretty much have this little box and they're like, yo, we do whatever the fuck we want, just as long as at the end of this box it leads to Game of Thrones, which I don't think that should be too hard a problem, is considering all of the characters and all of the fucking devious shit that's at work in this series. So I'm looking forward to see how, obviously, they got more seasons to go. I pretty much once this series is over with, I'm pretty sure we're all on board for. I mean, when the final episode happens, I think that our wrap up of the first season is going to be absolutely incredible, and I'm sure everybody will be here to talk about said things. Yo, what's good, Rhea? What's good? Just for yo, yeah, it was wild. So yeah, we'll always be able to fucking, at the end of the season, the season 1 wrap up of this is going to be incredible, man. And like I said, I sent shouts out, man. Ryan, Ray, if y'all want to come on and talk about this show once it's done, you're also invited every episode up until then. No, don't make it just for that. But I'm just saying, when we do a season 1 wrap up of this show, I'd like a lot of voices to be involved. Just people who love it.
It should be like a Viserys council. That's what it should be like. That's what it should be like, for real.
That little ball. Rhaenyra was rolling the ball like, fuck y'all, man.
She was
like, I don't care what this means. I'm just going to rub it around and roll it and just be like, what? Yeah, just fuck.
I got a trackball mouse. That's exactly what Rhaenyra was doing the entire episode.
All right, let me find this shit real quick.
That was, man. I love that. I love that sequence. I love that meeting where they were all just kind of laying down the land and laying down the law of the land and the way things were at the current moment and how things in the Stepstones were falling apart. And Rhaenyra's like, you fuckers let this shit fall apart. And then Alicent's like, well, it's a matter of cost. We're not infinite. And Rhaenyra's looking at her like, bitch, please get the fuck out of here with that shit.
She was like,
and Aemon's like, my pig ran away. Help me.
Yo,
bro, that pig's gonna come in and save the day at some point.
I love how Alicent was like, "Yo, you'll get a dragon one day. You'll get a dragon one day." And I'm like, "Yeah, if it'll fucking burn him alive."
Is that the pig that kills Robert Baratheon?
It's the ancestor of the boar that kills Robert Baratheon.
Yeah. I just remember there's a poster. I meant to throw it up here. I got a Game of Thrones poster. It's just full of quotes from the Game of Thrones, and it says. It said Robert Baratheon killed. It has something to do with Robert Baratheon being killed by a pig, and it's such a cool line because it just fits in like with this post. I'll put it up next week. I'll have it up, man, and it's got a lot of good quotes from the show. Like when I saw that poster, I think I got it from like I want to say Spencer's. Spencer's. You go through their posters, you see titties and all of that.
You got a couple of those
weed plants and everything.
You got a couple of the titty ones and
what?
Huh?
Dude, Spencer's has probably some of the best shot glasses I've ever seen. In
a
while.
Oh man,
they have like a whole like wall of them or whatever.
Oh yeah,
mugs
and shot glasses. The whole nine, bro.
We got most of the shot glasses we got them from Spencer's. They got some really good ones in there. Whoever's
telling y'all, after the season's over, I'm gonna walk into Spencer's and find any House of the Dragon shot glasses, and I'm fucking buy them all.
Yeah.
Send you get see if they have any goblets.
So you'd be down for that? Yo, Ryan, man, seriously, man, when the season's over with, man, everybody come on, man. Let's have a good old fucking conversation about the series or the first season in general and stuff.
Get your ass in here, like I just said, King Viserys style. I'm holding you to that. I'm not King Viserys, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, if you were, you'd fucking be looking like
I'd be fucking wait, wrong arm.
That gets 2 thumbs up.
It's 1 thumb up.
All right.
I still love 2 weeks ago when he's at they're at that festival or whatever, and he's down to like 1 finger.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
yeah.
That was great.
Oh shit. Real quick, let's get to this. And I think when this season is done for this other series as well, that we do talk about this on here some. I think we're gonna put a special show aside, and I'm sure Joey will be down and Meg too, and Phil probably. Once the Rings of Power is done, I think that deserves its own special show to talk about it because
I just finished episode 5 today, so you're right.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, and so did you watch it, Joey? Did you get to see episode?
I just watched it this morning.
Yeah, I think the series is going along swimmingly. I think real quick, let me throw this up here just in case anybody's Rings of Power spoilers, just in case. I think the show is going along swimmingly. Obviously, it still looks absolutely incredible. And look, man, I hate to damn be at the track. I was like, there was a couple of shots in last week's episode of House of the Dragon on the boat where I was like, some of the green screen behind the boat didn't look that good. But when you get to the Rings of Power, bro, I almost took a picture. I had paused it I think I had to run to the bathroom, but there's a shot. It was a big wide shot of like the pier in House of the Dragon and the Rings of Power. And way in the back, there's some birds. Yo, they were flying like not just birds put in. They like kind of turned their course. Like there's some work put into it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the Rings of Power, obviously no expense has been spared or no expense has been spared at all. Like literally no expense. So with that being said, I think the show is moving in a good direction. Obviously, it's still hard for me to like keep track of characters and things.
Yeah.
But at this point, you kind of get to the thing. So, I gotta ask you guys, the dude with the beard and shit, who is that?
It's either Sauron or Gandalf. That's the only conclusion I can come to, and that's with the minimalist amount of knowledge I have based on Lord of the Rings. That's the only two conclusions I can come to. It's gotta be one or the other.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge I like I love the Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, obviously, I love the show. I'm not well versed, my buddy is so he would probably have a better idea. I'm gonna give the very basic prediction that it's Gandalf, and I don't know why he would have forgotten who he is or whatever. But I'm just like, I have no idea. I don't really have any stake in it, I guess. But I am interested to see where it goes.
Yes. Yeah.
But for sure. That history lesson they gave with
peace out, Ryan, man. Take it easy, bro. Thanks for stopping.
Like how pretty much how what's the ore called? What are they? It's like
oh man.
If
anybody knows, put Mithril. Yeah.
Mithril, but just showing how that how their battle plus the lightning just it seeped down into the depths of the mountain. Like that was such a great explanation. Yeah. And then the visuals for it looked really good, even though it was like all CGI or whatever, but it looked like it's like you said, like there's nothing. I gotta say it's unmatched when it comes to like television visuals. Like
sure, yeah.
Nothing else looks that good right now, at least,
I think the only thing you really could compare it to is probably House of the Dragon.
No, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only fine comparison I can truly think you can really draw these two to, because I just saw today that House of the Dragon is the most streamed thing right now, right? Yeah. But I would also probably guess that Rings of Power isn't too far behind that.
No, it's I think it'd be a safe bet to say it's probably almost even. Like it might be House of the Dragon might just be a little further ahead of it because again, love Lord of the Rings, but if we're talking like a week by week basis of people talking about it, and even after the first series being done, people are still talking about it. I think that word of mouth might give it a little bit more oomph.
Yeah,
I think the fact that Game of Thrones is so much more recent than Lord of the Rings was, I think that really just
it also
it's the time frame, really,
and it also nothing to discredit Lord of the Rings or the Rings of Power, but Game of Thrones kind of gets into the quote unquote realistic fantasy. Like that's what people think. They don't shy away from anything. Where Lord of the Rings, they leave a little too much to the imagination, especially when it comes to violence and stuff. So I think people kind of weirdly gravitate towards that more. like the fact that Game of Thrones is more violent, or just
or
brutal
has
in general.
A little bit more risque.
Titties.
Yeah, they're basically
a bit more adult.
And also when it comes to like the fans of Lord of the Rings movies, and not just the original trilogy, but also the Hobbit and stuff, they might be, a lot of people might say, "Yo, I'm gonna wait until it's done and binge this entire thing," because when it comes to Game of Thrones, obviously I've had to binge a couple seasons, the first two, not as much as a lot of people, which is I always envy the people who have to. They're like, when the final 2 seasons of Game of Thrones came about, they were like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to binge the first 6 seasons." I was like, "Lucky you, that shit's fire, dude." Imagine getting to watch it week, just right after another. You don't have to wait till next week to see what the fuck happened to whoever. But with the Lord of the Rings series, there haven't been many really cliffhangers to where you're like, damn it, I need to see the next episode right now. Like the one that happened last week, when that shit was done, I wanted to see more. Like I was standing there watching, like, oh man, this is great. And then obviously we saw, what happened in the next episode or whatever. But the difference between the two, I would just say is Game of Thrones, it's almost, you have to see it every week. You just have to, this far in the Rings of Power, you could stand to, if you had to wait to watch it until the season was done, you might be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Now, we've only seen this many episodes, but I'm saying, like, so far, it seems as though you can probably wait a minute and watch, a few episodes at a time or whatever. Because they do put a lot of content at you, and it does, and this is Amazon, kudos for your pause menu. It is absolutely fucking incredible. That thing, all you streaming services out there, if you're watching this, doubt you are, but if you see this, Amazon's pause menu is incredible, dude. Bro, because there'll be times you see somebody like, oh shit, let me pause that. You want to go to your phone to look, but then Amazon already puts it right there for you. In this particular scene, here's these actors, here's their names, here's their characters' names. You're like, save me a lot of time. It's dope. It's dope. It's a dope feature on Amazon. If you guys haven't seen anything on there, they put when you pause any show or movie, whatever particular scene it's on, they'll put the actors and things of that nature on there, so you could keep track of what's going on and things like that. So, but Rings of Power, like I said, when this is done, I would love to, we'll all have a big thing where we talk about it, get more in depth, because there's a lot there, and it's almost there were scenes in this episode. Obviously, we saw last episode where the one elf was telling her, he's like, yo, either you vacate these lands, you can stay here, you got to
or you fight.
Or you fight, and then obviously she was about to bounce, and he's like, nah, how about we fight? And then they looked up to the tower like, yo, we got a scheme in hand, so maybe we bring this shit down. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, but
remind me after we're done. I just got an idea for our Rings of Power.
Okay, yes.
I'm just gonna say outright, Arondir is by far my favorite thing so far. Rings of Power, with what's going on with the Harfoots and the bearded motherfucker, because evidently he's either a wizard, he's either Gandalf, or he's fucking Sauron. It's gotta be something in that sphere.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what, because again, I'm not that big of a Lord of the Rings lore. I haven't read the books. I've watched the movies like a handful of times. Matter of fact, I'm even thinking about like just watching all of them again, just so I can refamiliarize myself with what could be going on here with Rings of Power. But I will say that the stuff going on in Numenor is intriguing. Like, I like that the dude is now forging swords for the Numenorians. I like that. But time will tell. I mean, I'm a diehard Throny fan. Like, I watch House of Dragons. I look forward to House of Dragons. Like, all week. If y'all been seeing my tweets, I'm just like, yo, fucking House of Dragons, man. When is it going to be Sunday?
You're like, someone leaked the episode. I need it
now.
Now, damn it, now.
I will say, I think, like, I'm not bored when I'm watching the Rings of Power, but there are definitely moments where like I'll hit the pause or like I'll hit the menu button and there's still like half an hour. I'm like, oh my god, like there's already okay. And I think a lot of it is because we don't know the end game, or we don't know where exactly it's leading. Like, we know the movies, that's off like hundreds of years in the future, but it's like we don't know where this is going. And I think when we finally get that context, if we rewatch the first series or first season, I think that'll get it more like make things move faster. But as of right now, it's just like there's a lot of exposition, which again, fine. But there are just moments where like tonight, Game of Thrones just went by very fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just don't, it's not even, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing for the Rings of Power. It's just the fact that like that's just the way that's where it goes, I think.
Yeah, and I think they built it to be watched in a certain manner, right? Obviously they released two first day, and then there's the episodes every week, but I think it's the way it's made is almost to be watched not at a weekly pace. And I think they did it to that extent just because that's what everybody does now when it comes to series of this nature.
Yeah.
And look, man, it's not this is not taking shots at the Rings of Power. Just the House of the Dragon has there's so much diabolically evil shit happening every 5 minutes in that show to where you're just like splendid. And then when it comes to like the Rings of Power, you're just like watching like, okay, that was cool. Oh shit. And then like obviously like I don't know how you guys felt. Like there's the part in the episode where the one dude's son is trying to burn the fucking ships and he hears a cough. And then obviously Isildur is over there and he's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing with that lantern? And then they have a fight or whatever. And that's gonna come back to haunt both those motherfuckers, guaranteed. That was a good, you know what I'm saying? That's a good moment in the show where I was like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like what's gonna, and obviously, it kind of got downplayed to whatever.
I think that's another thing about that I've always kind of looked at House of Dragon, like, and this isn't to dumb it down or anything, but like when you look at it, when you break that show down a little bit, a lot of it is like Real Housewives or whatever those reality shows where it's like there's just drama constantly.
Yeah,
but people love it. They gravitate towards it for whatever reason. I don't like it's especially it's exactly like if you saw a fight out in, like all those, those like TikToks or whatever, just like you hear your neighbors screaming from across the street and you step out just to, do
you just got
so you can hear it. It's like, it's just, it's people's natural reaction to drama is to be like, oh shit, what happened? Like,
exactly.
Tell me, show me what's going on. So I think that's why, another reason why like House of Dragon especially is probably just doing a little bit better than Rings of Power.
Because Rings of Power is so much more about honoring what that world is about and what hasn't been done within that world. Because, Lord of the Rings is almost like Star Wars in a sense, where it's like, you only had just the 6 movies, and now there's finally someone, in this case Amazon, who's out there going, we can expand upon this and we can tell other stories set in this world, and we can do it and honor it in a way that feels faithful, but also it stays true to what has initially been presented. And yet now we're at this point and we've got this fucking beautiful series. But the caveat is like the whole first season is essentially it's all world building. Yeah. And we kind of have to go with it, right? Because, if you're familiar with Sauron, if you're familiar with Bilbo, if you're familiar with Frodo, if you're familiar with all of that, then if you've even read the Samara or whatever the fuck the book is, I don't even know. I'm kind of drunk. I'm sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
My tooth is killing me, but the only thing that's helping is whiskey right now.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit, yeah. Like, the thing is about Rings of Power is it looks incredible. It's got a really solid cast to it, but that's just the but when you compare it specifically to Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon is like House of the Dragon follows Game of Thrones in that it is about the drama. It is about who's gonna fuck who this week, right?
Yep.
Whereas Rings of Power is like, well, how does this inform the world we all love and are so familiar with?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that both shows aren't necessarily fighting for attention, because one comes out either Thursday night, Friday, depending on what your time zone is.
Mm-hmm.
Real time for me is Pacific Standard Time, not these guys. That's just me. But for real, like, you know, I love that they don't have to fight for that time frame, because one comes out Friday, one comes out Sunday. So literally you have the whole weekend to be like, yo, Rings of Power, and then you can fucking end it off with House of the Dragon. You're like, I'm good. Fantasy dragons, fucking elves, orcs, I'm good.
Yeah. No, that's a good way of putting it, man, because it is luckily for us, it doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
Which, if I had to choose, I'll probably watch it. If they both came out 9:00 p.m. on Sundays, I'm watching House of the Dragon. I'll watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'll watch Rings of Power tomorrow. One last thing I did want to say was Elrond's. Elrond is. I love his character in the series, and the fact that he had that secret that he had to protect, and that shit was so like. Towards the end of that episode, I literally was really paying attention. I was like, is he gonna like what is he gonna do? And obviously, you know, they show him, yo, we need this because we're all dying in this bitch. And then he was like, fuck, what did I do? But luckily when he hollered at his homeboy, he was like, yeah, we'll go ahead and you know what I'm saying? And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, because he's like the fate of the elves is in whose hands?
Yeah, I loved it. That shit was fire, man.
See, and I think that's another thing is that like the the Rings of Power and Lord of the Rings in general, it appeals to that human nature of just like, especially when you look at, because I think my favorite relationship on that show is Elrond and Durin, because there is that camaraderie, and you know, like him being like, look, man, I wasn't honest why I came here. Like him just doing that is already repairing that broken bridge of just like, all right, I promise you honesty. I'm gonna start now. Like we gotta. This is why I'm here, and I think that's why Durin was so accepting of it, because he was just like, all right, you're honest with me. Like you know, I and of course I don't want you to perish. So.
Yeah, and also he said, not by my knowing, but my mission to come there was for something else. And he told, that I love their relationship, and that's probably what keeps me like really invested. Is there just like when I love seeing the other stuff in the series, but when their scenes come up, it's so dope, and it's filmed so great because obviously, you know, he's supposed to be this. The height difference is mad different, and it's the way it's filmed looks just as good as the movies. What they did with the height differences, which was dope.
I think there was one specific shot where, like in that scene, I think Durin is supposed to be standing on a rock or something, so they're actually like at eye level, and I'm like, oh, they didn't really actually have to do any camera work. Like, just like, you know, two actors probably in the same room.
Yeah, no, it's I love that, and. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. And look, if you're going to go back, I mean, obviously, Frodo and Sam's relationship in the original trilogy was absolutely carried that entire fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like you could say.
Did you guys see the alternate ending where Sam breaks it in Frodo's mouth? I'm just kidding. I'm shut up now.
Okay.
Anyway, what were you saying, Anthony?
I love Clerks too. There we go.
What were you saying, Anthony?
No, I'm just saying that relationship also. So if they use that same type of, which to me so far they have that same type of chemistry as Sam and Frodo, like that the original Lord of the Rings trilogy dies without that relationship. Yeah. Like especially in the third movie, God damn, they fucking went through it. Mm-hmm. So so Rings of Power, we all agree it's we like it so far, and like I said, once it's done. Look for us to have like a Rings of Power sort of breakdown for the entire first season.
Rings of Power roundtable.
Yeah, hey, it deserves it. It deserves it. I think it deserves it. And it's funny because considering how, you know, especially when when it just comes to me and Joey and Meg just conversating about it, like. For this to fall at the same time as House of the Dragon, how the fuck does that even happen?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
to be brutally honest,
Yeah.
I don't think you get Rings of Power without what happened with Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I
no.
absolutely firmly believe that had
no.
Game of Thrones not had the cultural
success.
impact, the success and the cultural impact that it had on our society, we don't see Amazon being like,
yeah, imagine if Game of Thrones never happened and then some dude walking into Amazon say, yo, we should do this series, right? Based before Lord of the Rings, before Fellowship, cost about 50,000 an episode, or what? No, it's more than that. And how much is the episode? It's millions.
I think the season accumulated like $1 billion in total.
Yeah, so basically, it's going to cost you about $2 million an episode. What do you say? They probably laughed that motherfucker out of there. But if you got something like Game of Thrones, like, yo, people love this kind of thing. They love.
Well, and you could probably say the same thing for The Witcher, like, because Netflix needed a fantasy series, and I think that kind of opened the door for you know, like they saw probably saw how popular the show was right around the time that the third Witcher game, you know, one of the best games ever, come out, and they were like, oh shit, we could do something here.
We can capitalize off it in some sense or another.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you know, you could argue that the biggest things Netflix has are Witcher, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And the Sandman.
And Sandman.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
It is without question. And like
and besides Sandman, the other three are kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'd say besides The Witcher 2, the other two are kind of throwback type deals. They're set.
Well, here's another thing. Which one of the 4 series that I just mentioned has spinoffs in the works coming out this year? Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blood and Bone comes out in December. Is it called Blood and Bone? Am I fucking that up?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Blood and Bone comes out this December with season 3 coming in the summer of next year. So that alone speaks to the effectiveness of just how powerful this kind of storytelling and this world setting is. And, you know, it also really helps that they've got fucking Henry Cavill in the main role. You know, there's that too.
Yeah. Which, you know, if the rumors that I saw about next season of Game of Thrones,
please,
yes, give me that. Awesome. We won't speak on it no more than that because I don't want to jinx.
Don't want to jinx it.
Don't want to jinx it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
I'll talk. It'll be fine.
So like we always do, we take a look at the teaser for the next episode of House of the Dragon, and I'll bring that up right here. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Yes, sir.
This brief mortal life, if not the pursuit of legacy. We play an ugly game.
If you are to be a strong queen, your subjects must fear you.
Fire is such strange power. Everything that House Targaryen possesses is owed to it.
Someone stole Vhagar.
There is a debt to be paid. This is the highest of treasons.
He's back.
I promise you in time, you and I together will prevail.
Now they see you as you are.
Damn.
So that scene that you've been just clamoring over, it gets answered in the next episode. How you feeling?
It's getting real.
How you feeling?
No, that's it. Also, like, I don't know if that's still part of the scene, but like, was that her Allison's hand with blood just leaking?
So.
Yeah, that's fucking insane, bro. I'll say this: if one of those main characters does not make it past the next episode, I will lose my fucking mind. Because for Game of Thrones, they do some shit to you, but if they do that, woo! I'll fucking. When we start the show next week, when it starts, I'll be fucking just if that indeed happens, if that indeed happens, I don't think that's gonna happen. But
my main shtick for this coming episode that we saw today, I was like, I just want to see how Emma D'Arcy and Olivia Cook portray Alicent and Rhaenyra. I was very pleased with that. Now I can just sit back and be like, okay, Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday's gonna be a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Like I'm it's not even so much as like I'm anticipating it, but it's like I can be patient. I can wait. I see what they're doing.
That was a hold on, let's see. Here it is, and this is. She said, now they see you as you are." Obviously, Alicent right here. Fucking, you can't see the dagger that good, but Jesus Christ, yeah, it's gonna be insane. So yeah, that's to show you guys. We'll see y'all next Sunday, right after the episode of House of the Dragon that comes on at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be here ready to break it down, discuss everything that happened, all of the grindiness, because it looks like it's gonna get
ugly
by Game of Thrones standard, just a little extra grimy, just a little tad bit more grimy sprinkle on top. So we'll see what happens when that comes out. And we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see y'all next week. So I can't find the outro. Here it goes.